Hello everyone. So I'm here with Amisha, and the reason why we kind of lost connection and then we've gained connection again, and I just wanted to share this really amazing story that I guess it's your story, but it kind of involves me as well. And I've told this story a million times, like a million times, because it's the most powerful example of what I would call intuition in action, really. And I think I wrote about it in my book, You Do Know, which is here. Just handy book. Here's one I prepared earlier. But I can't find it in there. I was looking for all my case studies. I don't think it's a case study, and there's nothing worse than rereading a book that you wrote yourself. Um, so this story starts on a very tragic day, which was the 7/7 bombings. Blimey, what year was that? And Amisha, what year was that? Can you remember?
2005, so it's 10 years ago,
10 years
basically.
ago. That's such a long time ago.
I was running late for work, so it's weird how the universe kind of really prepares you for something that you don't actually know is going to happen. So I was running late for work, and I had this real feeling of, something must have happened to me today. Which of my support system in London would I contact? Really random thought. You don't think about that really normally. And I was like, so I had this little action plan of this is what I'm going to do, and kind of like brushed it to one side and thought, how random is that? And I have to actually take an overground before I get to London, actually. So I was actually running, and the carriages I was on or trying to get on were really packed. That's not normal. So I squeezed myself on and kind of went, okay, I'm on. And it kind of, the conversation reminds me of then getting to King's Cross and running for the Piccadilly line. And I was almost at the entrance or the exit that took me onto the beginning of the train. And actually there was a voice that kind of said to me then, stop, don't get on there, go to the back. So I kind of followed this intuition voice, and through the work we'd done, I just kind of thought, this is a sign. This is something I have to listen to. Because Becky, the work that we did was always connecting to our divine, inspiration and spirit. And I was like, okay, so there's reason. So like you said, I squeezed myself onto this actual carriage, and, we set off, and, it automatically takes me back to kind of remembering we just left the station. There was this almighty bang. And at first you think, oh, it's the brakes going. You know how it is. It's kind of normal for, trains to be doing that. But then it was all of a sudden like these plumes of massive smoke kind of coming across, from the bottom all the way to the top. At which point there was a moment where I thought, oh, this is not right.
No.
There was a tiny bit of panic, but then I remembered. I was like, remember what Becky would say, connect to spirit. So I connected to spirit, and I kind of almost internally yelled for my spiritual guides to be there, the angels, whoever was out there to help, be here now. And it was strange because I felt this beam almost kind of come through me, and I had this sense of everything is going to be okay. And it was a voice that kept coming, everything is going to be okay. And then somebody yelled, everybody get down. So we all got down, and it was hilarious because it was not much space to move, and there was a gentleman in front of me, so we were at the doors either side of that little alcove almost that is in between the two rows of seats on either side. So I got down, my hand was on his knee, and I was like, oh, I'm ever so sorry, but my hand's on your knee. And I was like, ooh, this is really inappropriate, really.
Not the other way around.
Exactly, kind of going, oh, I'm so sorry. And I kind of got this feeling of, okay, so I felt really sort of connected, and I was like, okay, this is going to be okay. And I kept repeating, everything is going to be all right to the people around me. And I was having this little chat with this lady that was just about, I'd even say about 40, 40 centimeters, I'd say, because it was so tight, away from me. And she was a young girl, and she was just chatting away to me. And instantly this little mothering sort of thing kicked in. And I was like, are you okay? I said, look, if you need anything, I've got a bottle of water in my bag. I've got some sweets if you need anything. And I said, if it gets really hot in here, I've got a can of Magicool, which used to be what we used to carry around to kind of cool you down, the advert with the camel. So I was like, and even if it does, and I had a little torch in my bag as well. So I had this super huge bag with lots of different things. My friends used to always laugh at me, but I'd be like, you have to be prepared. And so I said to her, if you need any of this. And as it was all going, it was a strange sort of thing, because like you said, it was like talking to people. This one lady was really panicked. She was like, I wish I'd never got into the tubes. She goes, I have children. I was going to take the next one, and it's a case of, I just turned around and said to her, it's going to be all right. They're going to get us out. It's going to be okay. And she actually said to me, she went, are you a nurse? And and I laughed and I said, no. I said, I actually mentioned the London-based fashion company that I work for. I went, no, I work for these people, kind of feeling really proud, kind of going, no, but it's all about community. And it was a really sort of a great inspirational community company to work for, because it inspired us to be with the community and support people. So I was like, I'm doing my duty as a representative of that community, but also with that sort of Reiki sort of vibe. So it was like anyone I could touch, anyone I could console. It was very much like, you know, let's get into that energy. And you're absolutely right. It was so strange how that calmness was able to kind of like emanate throughout that carriage. Like you said, it was noisy on one end. It was kind of like a little bit chaotic on the other. But there was that moment where it just went quite silent and quite subdued, and you know, that real sense of, you know, peace almost. In amongst it, you got the little shouts in between, which kind of reminded you that there was something going on. Yeah. The crazy thing is that we got hit also from behind by another train, which jolted the whole energy and shifted and actually got people to panic a little bit more.
Yeah,
because it was a case of, yeah, and so we got hit, and so again we kind of like were jolted forward. But it was just that sense of knowing that, okay, I'm here, this is going to be okay. I knew I was protected. I knew that everything was going to be all right. But it was just about being there for the people. And I really, truly believe it wasn't there for me to have any sort of, I suppose, profound experience of what I found later on, how I felt about the situation and what happened thereafter. I was really there to help those people in that carriage. That was the main thing that was there as a part of the actual. Strangely enough, like you gave us the homework of inspiring people. That's exactly how I felt I was doing. And that's one of the reasons why I called, because I was like, I think I did my homework.
Yeah,
inspiration.
Yeah. 5 stars. Wow.
Exactly. It was like, right, I think I've done that. But it was that sense of feeling like I felt connected to these people. It was a case of, you know, making sure that everyone was okay. And at that point, time kind of felt it stood still. So people would talk about timelines, whereas I'd be like, I have no idea how long I was there. I think when I read about things, maybe we were there because we were the back end of the actual train, maybe about 15 minutes before they got to us. But it felt so much. And it was strange because we tried to get out, but we were wall to wall sort of tunnel. So even if we were able to open up the doors, all we were met with was tunnels and more smoke. And people were trying to smash in the windows and stuff to try and get out, but it wasn't. I mean, everything is so super tough there that it was difficult to actually get them to do that. And so it was this whole sort of like journey of kind of going, okay, we're going to be all right. But the more I said it, the more I felt it, the more Reiki that I was able to give. And it's weird because my journey started with Reiki a year before that. Then I started my lessons with you. And so there, we were actually to the end, because I kind of like, at the end of this, we had the last lesson on the Monday. This will happen on the Thursday. Wow. And I pushed myself and I thought, no, I have to be here. It was destined to be there. So it's almost like the universe prepared me with introducing me to Reiki, to be able to have worked with it so I understood it, and then to have those beautiful lessons with you to kind of open myself up to more of the spiritual side. So in a way, I was prepared for that point in time. So it was that's
a remarkable perception, because most of us feel like, you know, I manifested myself to be in this perfect moment in time for things to go well. And what you're saying is that you manifested something that is, you know, I mean, obviously it could have been worse, because if you hadn't heard that inner voice, you could have been in the wrong carriage. And indeed, you know, I interviewed a lady on LBC radio who actually lost her legs. And she actually found it to be quite a miracle, because she said it had changed her perspective on her life. But it was a very personal thing. And in fact, that she felt, you know, a very difficult thing to say, but to be extremely lucky to be alive. So it's extremely lucky that you listen to that voice to go down. It's kind of like, no, love, no, not there. Matt, carry on down. Your job's at the end carriage. But it's such a unique perspective for you to actually feel. And you said this immediately. So this isn't something that you have processed at a later date. This isn't something that you thought about or turned into a positive spin from a disastrous situation. You decided literally there and then that you were meant to be there to help people, like a completely you know, like that's an enlightened viewpoint, to be completely selfless and suddenly go, I'm meant to be here. You know, kind of, I'm an ambassador for God and I'm here to do God's work kind of thing. It's kind of, and I just want to I just really want to underline that, because I find it such a remarkable and powerful viewpoint, and this is why I really wanted to interview you, so that people could see, like, I mean, how lovely you are, but just how amazing that in any situation in your life, whenever you feel, why is this happening to me? It's maybe there is something bigger going on that you have no idea about, and that's why this is happening to you. And sometimes it's to hand over and allow grace. I always call it grace, but to hand over and allow grace to say, I don't know why this is happening, but I trust that this is happening for the greater good. You know, and it's an incredibly difficult thing to do, but that is something that you really, really managed to do that day. And I'm sure other people weren't fortunate enough to have that opportunity, but you were, and you took advantage of it. So I just want to applaud you for that. So just say amazing. And you know, and I just think, yeah, and I want to say that because when people kind of talk about their intuition, and we think about following our intuition for, you know, a profitable business, for the love of our life, but actually it is a survival tool. It's a real survival tool. Being able to hear that inner awareness is a survival tool. And I just really wanted to underline that in our chat. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. It's such a beautiful story. And wow, you know, just, yeah, I'm kind of a bit speechless, which isn't me. So thank you ever so much.
You're so welcome, Becky.